Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Saga Book Club on 22 panels. I'm joined by, he's Larry again. He figured out how to make himself Lee, and now he's Larry again. Psychocomicology's Lee Woods, Matt and Belle, Marisol, and Mr. Josh Eiserike, who is my wonderful writer buddy who's always got something to plug. So please plug away and try to remind
Yes.
me at the end of the episode, too.
Yes. Well, first, let's plug the 22 Panels Patreon that we always should. So
Oh
folks
yeah,
who
I always forget to
listen to the
plug that.
show,
I need your
listen.
money.
Yes. Yes. So kick Tad and his team a few bucks. But now you got to sit through me
I have to
plugging still
share it with the
brand.
team. I do all the work.
Well, if you want to spend your money on something else, brand new, collected for the first time ever, my cult classic graphic novel that I drew, Assholes.
Oh,
Also includes the never released Assholes Hanukkah special. The only place you can get Assholes right now is my website, or come find me at WonderCon in Anaheim later this month and pick up
oh,
your
so you're going to
copy
be at
of
WonderCon rather than on my panel at C2E2. I see how it is.
WonderCon I can drive to. Um,
Whatever.
I also we have the first issue of what will be my next graphic novel, Pale of Settlement. This is a YA adventure. Think like Stranger Things in the world of Fiddler on the Roof, but without music.
What?
It's awesome. I'm very biased.
We don't we
The
don't get
full
the music though?
No, it's not a musical. The full book will be complete probably in the next month or so. So stay tuned for more. And then, of course, my first published graphic novel, The Very Final Last Girls from Darby Pop Publishing. If you like horror films, this is about the girls who survive horror films, and you will love this comic, or else just don't tell me you didn't like it. That is all. Let's talk about Saga.
Yeah. Saga Volume 8. And I don't know. I mean, I know the number of us did this in single issues. And otherwise you could have picked up from some of the cues in the back, but as I reread chapter 43 here, um I smiled again because chapter 43 was part of Image Comics did a thing for their 25th anniversary where most of their major series put out a 25-cent issue. And chapter 43, the first chapter of this edition of Saga, was a 25-cent comic. In fact, I think I still have like a dozen of them because they're a great thing to, they're almost as good as issue one to give somebody and just have them read it as is and go, oh yes, I want to read Saga. Because it does a good recap um while starting a different story, but also and I thought this was a bold move. um It's like a mission statement of everything that Brian and Fiona believe in. You want to know Brian and Fiona's politics, you read that issue. It deals with a woman's right to choose. It deals with trans issues. It deals with racial issues. It deals with war, all in one nice package. And it's got what, the four-page recap where we also managed to learn new things. That's one of the things I love about when they recap is they'll recap it, but even in recapping it, it's not strictly a recap. It's a we're going to tell you about the war, but we're also going to add in, you know, more information about Landfall being this tech mecca where it had essentially no history because everything was being bulldozed over for the new thing all the time. Whereas Wreath was still this world of magic and heritage and whatnot. And then it got into the Civil War. Um, and did it all in 2 pages. Um, which is just amazing in so many ways. Um, so yeah, those are my initial thoughts on volume 8. And I'm going to kick it to everybody else to see both what I mean, give me thoughts on that first chapter because I think I think it might be issue one was the last time that a single issue had that much sense of purpose put into it. They really do write arcs more than issues. I mean, the issues are all fantastic. Um, so at least for me, but
Welcome to Abortion Town
yeah,
is just as powerful as Am I Shitting?
right.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
What a way to
I'm right
start.
there with you.
The very first page of a 25-cent comic.
Yep.
And like cute. This cute owl lady.
Yes, exactly.
Cute owl cowboy in pink cowboy boots.
Delightful.
Welcome to Abortion Town.
Can I push back on something you said a little bit, Ted?
Sure.
Do you think we really know his politics from this? Because she couldn't get an abortion there because she was so late.
But they also comment on that sucking and being about like men making laws.
Right.
The characters do.
The characters do. I mean, I guess we don't flat out know his politics.
I don't think we do. I think he writes very empathetically.
I mean, sure, but if he was anywhere further right of center, I don't think he would have written it at all, and or would have written it incredibly more harshly. I mean, the when you get to the Badlands and you've got the woman explaining, oh yeah, that elephant was very deep in, but think about it this way.
Yeah.
And like that wasn't even like the most, yeah, I don't know.
The reason that I'm pushing back a little bit is because I've read Ex Machina.
I get it. Which was earlier.
Darker ending earlier for sure. And one of the things I think Vaughan does really well is he creates characters and then just gets out of their way and lets them have their perspective. I read an interview years ago where he was like, yeah, if I met Gert Yorks from the Runaways, I think she would hate me, which I always really liked. No, I don't. I didn't see him. I didn't see this as overtly a political point as maybe I should have. But it's
and I don't. I guess I've been struggling a lot lately with the number of things that we aren't even allowed to ask questions without it being called political. So to a certain extent, by having the issue there, by making you think about it, there's an element of politics.
For sure.
And I don't know if he and I agree on all of these points, but what I do know is he thinks they're worth talking about.
And from what I've read, he also thinks it's his responsibility to reflect the world accurately around him. And I think he does a good job of that in a story, with robots with televisions on their heads, of all places, which is wonderful. I find that first page of chapter 43, I find it totally delightful.
It is.
It's like almost like.
But it's also going to make any hardcore pro-lifer like take their kids out of the shop.
I don't think the hardcore pro-lifers are letting their kids read these comics.
Yeah, but that's a book ban waiting to happen. Like, it's like, oh my God.
But again, like this is where I say if it's just the regular issue of Saga and therefore likely to be just in line or whatnot, unlikely to be picked up.
Right.
But no, it's the 25-cent issue. It's the one where stores ordered 100 copies rather than 15 copies. It's the one where they put it up at the register because it was only 25 cents. Hell, I know stores that didn't charge the 25 cents for the 25-cent copies. They treated them as freebies.
So because I was subscribing to this and because I probably would have paid $20 for this issue or 25 cents, were people jumping in? Like readers
it actually,
they were.
I mean, I was selling at the time and
okay.
I was at a store where I got permission to give it away for free rather than 25 cents, but I couldn't just put it in bags. I had to like give it to people who wanted it and would read it. And the number of people who came back after being given this issue and bought the first 7 volumes within the next month were kind of ridiculous. We
And that's
we
wonderful.
we doubled our Saga subscriptions in the span of 2 months because of this issue.
Right.
And we already had, I mean, at a store where the only book that we had more than 40 subscriptions on at the time was Batman,
Right.
and the next highest was Walking Dead at 32. Saga went from 25 to 50 in the span of a month.
So it worked beautifully.
Right.
That's great.
But they also had me behind the counter. I've been selling the hell out of it forever, and
Right.
like I'm me and I don't have a filter, so we probably lost most of our right-wing customers already, or at the very least, they only came in when they knew I wouldn't be there.
Thank
I was
God.
only there a couple of days a week, so that wasn't hard.
Not all heroes wear capes, Ted.
Best comic shop ever.
Exactly. It's a
Um,
selling point right there.
you used to come in and buy way too many books.
You got the Tad seal of approval on that shop.
Yes. I swear, every time I went to the shop, I would leave with at least, what, $150 worth of trades?
Generally, I mean, we had buy two get one free, so like you came
True.
in expecting to buy 9.
Yes.
I
Some
think
days I did.
I think the most you ever went was 15,
Yeah. That was,
but I don't think you ever walked out with 6.
nope. More than 6, usually.
Right.
Fun times.
And there was I think you jumped on Saga at like volume 6.
Somewhere around there, because I
I think
know there were a good handful of them available at the shop
yeah,
when you
I
were talking to me about it.
because I feel like I got you to take volume 1 as
Hmm.
like the freebie with a couple of other cheap books, and
Yeah.
then like in a very short period of time, you came back, you grabbed the 5, and you're like, okay, what should be my 6th book?
Yeah. I read the first one. I want all of them now. What else
Right.
can I get? Oh,
Um, I mean, I used to sometimes wind up selling hardcovers because we didn't have the floppies. And people were like, well, I'm gonna need it anyway, so that's fine. I'll give my give my volume 1 away and I'll buy the hardcover rather than
there
because
you
we
go.
don't have we were missing like volume 2, right? We had like they had volume 1, we were missing volume 2, and we had volume 3, and rather than waiting, if we had book 1, they just grab book 1 and then give their and more than once the person that they gave it away to would be back in sometime in the near future. This is the power of Saga, Lee. I know that Edgar pushes back, but this is why you just need a stack of it somewhere.
That's how crack dealers work. The first one's free, and then you're
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Or the 43rd one.
they
right.
did just put out a new round of Image First. I forget if Saga was in it, but if it is, like anytime there's the $1 Saga, you should order like 100.
Yeah. I did see that
Agreed.
sale. I didn't on my first go see if Saga was on it, which I'm pretty sure I did look for Saga, but I
Right.
didn't see it. But I have
It's
to check
not
this
on the Image First sale isn't the same every time.
out.
But yeah, no, the having the $1 Saga issue 1 around, particularly because it's a $1 what 48 page Saga issue 1 is, I mean, it's crack. It's absolutely crack. But we fell off the deep end again. Nobody, not everybody's managed to. I'm dominating. I need to shut up now. I should mute myself. Everybody else is muted.
Well, I'm reflecting back on it, and Josh, you asked a very interesting question because I'm thinking about where I was when I was reading this, and I definitely got the floppy. And I think I paid 25 cents for it. Um, and which I thought was a complete mistake, by the way. I was like, "Are you sure?" I thought it was $4. Anyway, um, but when I look back at it, to me, it was not necessarily a political thing. It was much more of the focal point for me was a miscarriage. And that was a part where I'm like, how the hell? Like I can only imagine like what sort of one life that they're living anyway, but just the simple fact like through no fault of your own, like that happens. Although this one, like some maybe force was transferred to how I read it in my mind canon, physical force, she fell, took a blast, and things happened. Um, so for me, it was that sort of traumatic experience, little t traumatic, and how parents deal with that and how they deal with it in certain ways. But yeah, going back to again, yeah, it's right there front and center, abortion land. I'm like, yeah, was it about that? Was it about pro-choice versus pro-life, or was it, um, yeah, because they mentioned that in terms of the time frame. But for me, it was, I didn't think about that, to be quite honest, at the time. It was more about the miscarriage.
I think you just said much more eloquently what I was trying to say. I think about, I'm going to go off subject for about 30 seconds. I apologize for getting nerdier on a comic podcast. I think about my all-time favorite recording artist. If you've never heard of Ben Folds, he's wonderful. He's a piano player. He's technically a one-hit wonder or a one hit and a few almost hits. But his one hit was a song about when he was in high school. He had to get his abortion. His girlfriend had an abortion, and it wasn't a political statement. It was simply, "This is what it felt like." Um, and it was a sad thing that happened. It's a beautifully sad song, which is me saying that thank God I have no experience in this. I can't imagine what hell it would be through. It would be to go through that. But I think one of the things Brian K. Vaughan really, really gets, and Fiona, is the emotion. And I just wanted to echo what that, Lee.
Yeah, for sure. And again, not to continue sort of, I'm sure there will be one issue where I will say, Brian K. Vaughan, I dislike this. I genuinely disliked it because you didn't make me hate you. It's just, I thought it was bad. One day we may get there. But yeah, that was one.
I don't think that day is coming for me.
Oh, well, we'll see. I'm cynical in that way, I guess. But yeah, it was such a, again, the gut punch from the last issues, this issue, it was just like such a, yeah, I just felt, and I forget who said it, so I apologize, but it's like, I think one of you was just like, damn you, Brian K. Vaughan, for making like hurting me, emotional damage, right? It was,
Yes, like how dare Brian make me feel feelings in my own home? The
yes.
sheer audacity of him to put these like delightful other people in front of us, everybody getting along, having a great time, just to rip it all away
Mm.
in the most horrible way possible. But I mean, at the same time, it's like these horrors happen regularly. This is life, and that's one thing I like about Saga, that it doesn't shy away from any of that. It's very, I don't know if this is the right word to use, but it's the best I got right now. It's very raw in the way that it looks at life circumstances, the different things that people from different backgrounds go through, how they end up where they are. Like, we may not go super in depth into everybody's backstory, like, besides Hazel, because we are seeing her from baby onward, but we get glimpses of where everyone has come from and what's made them who they are now, including like the highs and the lows, and sometimes the utterly traumatic shit. And it's like, oh, this explains a lot about you and how you are now. This answers a lot of
I,
questions.
I 100% agree with that. And when you were saying that, I think raw is a very, very good adjective. I mean, they did have the audacity to call this book Saga. Like it's not Alana and Marco in space with their daughter. It's Saga.
And yeah, just how poignant the point of shit happens, like life happens, and
Yeah, like 1 minute someone's there, the next they're not.
yeah,
One
and
minute you're settled somewhere where you think is comfortable and safe. The next you have to run because your life may literally depend on it.
yeah, and I'm thinking even just clinically, like how sometimes where just that human, very, very human experience of like, I was just with them, now they're gone. Just, just that feeling. And again, just how Brian writes it and Fiona draws it, if I can call them by their first names, like we're friends, I guess. Uh, how they really capture that, um, I think is like even then, it's like that should tell you, for those of you listening, this is not me sort of stammering over my own words. This is me failing to articulate at times what is felt and that very like real experience, right?
And I
So
never quite know sometimes which part of it is more impactful. Is it Brian's writing or Fiona's art that really gives it the hardest punch?
I
Because it is a combination of both sometimes, but there are points where I feel like just the visuals of it make it either that much more exciting or hurt that much more, which
yeah,
is very impressive. And it's just incredible to see from like an artistic standpoint.
And to that point, I think in however many years it takes them to wrap this up, to no pun intended, finish the saga, I think we're going to be very happy that it was one artistic vision all the way through and not filler artists.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna be happy. I think somewhere down the line it's gonna be bittersweet. I think at the
I'll
I
be
think I'm going to
sad
be
that it ends.
When I
I'll be
read
sad that
Saga,
emotionally
I
it
wouldn't
satisfied.
describe it as happy necessarily. I'd say it's more of a mixed bag. You ever
it's a
play Mr. Game and
lowercase
Watch in Smash and you do
H
his like
happy.
side B and it's like you get a number
We
1 through 9. That's how I feel with Saga. Like sometimes it's a 9, sometimes it's a 3s, it's like
we as fans are going to be glad that it was one singular creative vision. That's more the point. And to your
Yes.
point, no, I think it's going to be a very bittersweet ending, but I think it will be emotionally satisfying. And I completely trust this creative team to get us there.
Uh,
I
I'm
actually
excited to see where it keeps going as
I
much as I know
actually
it's gonna hurt.
have a new prediction on the ending that I'm gonna wait a few more volumes to say
Can't
because
put any
Are
spoilers.
you gonna tease us like that, Tad?
yeah, I
Are
am.
you a
I
teaser?
am because there was something that was said between characters in this volume that made me think of things that happen in later volumes. In fact, in some volumes that I'm not certain everybody has gotten to and read yet. Um, so I am going to hold off
Hmm.
on whether or not this volume includes a massive what I suspect is a massive foreshadow.
Hmm.
Um, and I could be completely wrong because God knows as much as I mean, like one of the things that I noticed as we reread this is oh my God, did he foreshadow that Marco wasn't and I shouldn't have said that because that's next month, but there've been some big things that were shocking when they happened that when you do the reread, you're like, oh, oh. um,
Well, now I
Yeah,
want to reread
yeah, it's like
and see if I can catch
you
what
just
you're
kind
picking
of
up on.
Uh-huh.
reverse
yeah.
follow the thread, the
Well,
timeline of events, and it's
I
like,
will
oh, that's
say
how we got
it
here.
was in a conversation between Hazel and Curdy. in this
Okay.
volume. So little brother Curdy. And
Yeah.
I went, this actually matches up with one of the cooler twists of volume 10, 11, 12. Is it going to become a big thing and then is it going to just be a big thing for Hazel, or is it going to have actual galactic implications?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, leave it at that,
Speaking
at
of
least for a couple months.
speaking of the galaxy, I want to totally change subjects for a moment and just ask a question that I found myself wondering. This is very specific. Does anybody else get the impression from the Wills flashback that he might be from Earth?
I
I was wondering
mean,
that on my first read through, but I'm like, is Earth even a part of this story technically, or do they just call it? They just have a different name for Earth? This
I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, landfall feels a lot like Earth too, other than like wings.
Maybe it's an Earth-like substance.
But the
It's like
but the
Earth
Will is
adjacent.
also
ah,
he's also human. There's nothing
Right. Right.
physically different
No.
about him, and it looks like he grew up like outside of like Cleveland or wherever.
Yeah. That's an interesting I'm call me intrigued.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
it
didn't
might
mean
be
to
one that we
derail.
never actually.
Oh, I don't think it's ever going to be addressed.
And I love that you said Cleveland because that's also where Vaughn's from.
That's exactly why I said it. Yeah.
Oh.
well, briefly jumping off the Will's little flashback backstory bits, it was interesting to see that. I guess from me interpreting the story as we saw it, his uncle got them into their like freelancer work
Yep.
as becoming the Will and the Brand.
After
And the
killing
man
the
has a
dad.
giant chameleon, which is just fun.
I did not think that. I don't know.
It's like their their uncle on their mom's side is the letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back, I definitely would say that he is from like some sort of like rural backcountry sort of place in the States. But yeah, I think on my first read through, I didn't think of it
Yeah,
that
no,
way.
as soon as I went and reread it there, I'm like, okay, I totally see what Josh is saying. But
Yeah.
no, I think there are hints of Earth all over the place and no mention of Earth that like I just assumed that there was no Earth, but now I'm wondering if there is an Earth and like when we see RCA cables, it's because that was what got that was what Earth came up with that the galaxy went, "Oh, that's kind of cool. We've never done that.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way." And it also makes way more sense that the Will would have a fucking VHS camcorder.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think it's going to be like Springfield and The Simpsons. We're never going to know exactly where it is, and it doesn't really matter. But I don't like to me, it's like, oh, feels like Earth, like maybe, I don't know, 100 years in the future or something like that.
Yeah.
Ohio, Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, it's Springfield, Illinois.
I thought Illinois. I don't know why.
It's Oregon.
Really?
That's where he's from.
Massachusetts.
Oh,
No, but it's but we're never gonna know. We're never gonna
yeah.
know, and that's the point.
Well, I mean, Ohio, Missouri, and Illinois are most likely because every time they show a map, they put a big thing in the center of the United States to indicate Springfield. It's never coastal.
And we're never gonna know, and that's the point.
That's true. Yeah,
Huh.
That's the
Yeah.
frustrating part too, because then a part of you wants to know, like you want the lore. But at the same time, it's sometimes better not to know.
Yeah.
Well, how interesting too is that even thinking about this, how everything has a sort of purpose. Like every person that we meet, every side character that we meet, even every animal companion that we meet has a story and has a purpose to it. All the way down to the VHS recorder, right? It's like, well, where does it come from, right? And that's at least again for me, it just kind of being a little bit more introspective right here is like I didn't think about that. Like the focal points are the characters here, but
Yeah.
wow, how the neighborhoods and communities and background also tell that story and serve a point. Uh, I'm just, yeah, I'm kind of like
So
boggles my mind a little bit.
I'm gonna spin from that to Josh, how are you feeling about the will right now?
I am still Team Will, and I know what's happening. He's had
I thought you were the one that never liked the will. You're with the will?
no,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was me.
That was Lee. Okay, Lee, how are you feeling about the will right now?
Um,
Are you able to empathize with him?
yes.
Very smooth pivot there, Ted. I like that.
The, the other guy, no, that was
See, Matt, he called himself the other guy. That means apparently you're not a man.
allegedly, jury's still out. Uh, the
Oh, wow, he's just letting that one fly by too. Or he's on mute and shouting at me and doesn't know that I can't hear it.
Yeah, for me, I think this is where Josh, the my connection to Will does grow. I think this was the part where it was like, okay, rough childhood, abusive childhood, even, um, and even that, just how to me poignant that scene of there's always something so in comics. Fiona Staples has done it. Um, And I know that with like Walking Through the Path of Hell by Garth Ennis, just the flat faces that show no emotion and that expression disturb me. Uh, and just this face of a young Will with sort of blood splattered across it. It was like, yeah, you imagine there's some problems there as a kiddo witnessing that sort of brand of violence. No pun intended. It's to me that's like okay, like even despite the childhood and what's actually happening in the comic, try not to spoil too much here, is
Yeah,
that
oh, we're a book club. We're allowed to talk about what's happening in the comics. I try not to spoil like the
oh,
next
sure.
volume.
That makes sense.
And I fail sometimes.
It happens.
He's
Uh,
getting brutally tortured.
yeah, that
But like
torture, like
we're gonna read the volumes anyway, so
Right, right.
true.
Uh, I mean, anybody who listens to the Saga book club and expects it not to involve spoilers doesn't understand what a book club is. Um, and I say that knowing that I know my brother hasn't read all of Saga, and I don't know if my mom's read Saga, and I think they listen to them anyway, but I don't think they expect us to be spoiler free.
Mm.
So, mm.
Yeah,
so
And
Lee,
if you
just
do,
to clarify. Sorry, Ted.
no, go
To
ahead.
clarify, do you feel like he's like sociopathic here, or does this help you empathize with him?
this helps me empathize with him.
Got it.
Because
I mean, can't the answer be both?
It can.
it can if I didn't know the Will leading up to this point, like prior to knowing about his past, if that makes any sort of sense there, where he is empathic. He does
Mhm.
display the ability to empathize, show emotion, and even in some cases remorse, hence the sort of tripping and drugs and guilt and
Right.
weight gain. So, like that entire sort of down, that lets me know he's not a sociopath in that way. What this does show me is that, again, as much as I pushed him away, this unfortunately, maybe this speaks a lot about my um, perception of people, but it was a very traumatic and abusive upbringing, which made
Yes.
him really human to me.
Yes.
Um, so to me,
Also means that he might have pushed you away
oh yeah.
because that would be a natural thing for somebody with that upbringing to do, push away anybody who might be close to him.
Hmm.
And I know that that's completely meta, treating the will like a real person and you
Hmm.
like somebody in his world. But I wonder how much that was supposed to be I'm gonna create this character that pushes you away, even as he clearly has a code and clearly does care about certain things, even when he tries not to. Um, just so like at least for me, I know the first time I read it, like you can get to the point where he's getting tortured and go, I'm sorry for all the terrible things I said about you.
You know, the Will to me feels like the perfect comic book performative male. Like he's really trying to uphold this like nonchalant like essence, but at the end of the day, like he actually does give a fuck. Like it's kind of funny to me how some of his scenes feel that way.
That makes a lot of sense.
Very interesting. Yeah, that was the part for me where I think my opinion of the will like turned and like
Yeah.
looking back at this for sure. Uh, uh he's definitely still not my favorite character. But I at least understand his motives now and I can understand him. And I think that's where my opinion changed.
I also think, and let me be clear, I don't mean this in a bad way. I think this is the act of writing. I think there is deliberate emotional manipulation in this volume to get us to like the will, knowing what's coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because there's never been a quicker, okay, I kind of like you. I feel you. Fuck you. I want you to die in an even more painful way than you just escaped
Right.
that I have ever felt in my life. I
Um,
mean,
to your,
it's on par with how quickly I utterly turned on Kylo Ren at the end of it's like, no, this can't be his redemption. I don't want it anymore. He killed Han Solo. Sorry.
um,
That's an interesting point, Josh. I didn't think about that.
and Tad, by the way, to Kylo Ren, you will get no argument from me on that. But for the will, I
He's almost redeemed by the fact that it's Solo that comes back to him, but it's still hard. I'm sitting there going, "You killed."
um, I'd be to your point, Ted, at the beginning of this book club, it is a transitional arc.
Yeah,
And I will be, having not read this for years and just remembering the end of the next volume. Um, I'd be real curious to see how I feel about the will after one more arc, having not read that in years.
yeah. I mean, I've probably read. It's been a couple of years now since I read Volume 9, but what I do remember about every time I read Volume 9 is that everything feels fresh except those last few pages. So like that's
Right.
how hard it winds up hitting you that you like
Right.
forget the last 6 issues.
Right.
There's actually some like joyous, cool stuff. There's some other heartbreak, but then that thing happens and it's like within hours, the only part of it that I can remember is that image.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, um, I do also love uh Prince Robot and Petrichor getting together.
Yeah,
I had forgotten about that.
their whole interaction before I flipped to the page the first time I read this, I thought they were just gonna start throwing hands and punching each other.
Yeah,
'Cause my whole thing
yeah,
is I saw you just see this static
yeah.
on Prince Robot's face. We don't know what he's thinking in this moment. He seems to be a little here and there for the majority of things since he got his face cracked. And I did not expect that the first read through for the two of them to be getting together. They're both so goddamn stubborn and willful. But it's like, you know what? I kind of dig it.
And how much of a change does it represent in Robot that he let that family go? That it was Petrichor going, is it too late for me to shoot them in the back?
It's a huge growth for him because before he would have, without hesitation, wiped that
They
whole
wouldn't have been
family
able
out.
to tell him any stories.
No, zero hesitation. Their faces would have all been blasted off and they would have been dead in a ditch somewhere. But now I think it's the fact that he has Squire to go back to.
Yeah.
Squire is back waiting for him. He seems to be more of an maybe empathetic is a little bit of a strong word for him right now, but he's more hesitant to immediately pull the trigger and go to violence and murder in situations like this. He's a
I
little
think
more
he's,
merciful.
well,
Merciful
I
is the word
actually
I was
think in a
looking
lot
for.
of ways he's less suicidal. I think
That too.
part of the way that he would just shoot first and ask questions later was like he had no regard for life, most of all his own. So like he didn't care if you died, and he didn't care if anybody came to avenge you, because either they'd die or he'd die, and either way, cool. You know. But
Another
have
Squire who's a delightful
having
light in his
Squire
life.
gives him something
And I did
to live
notice that
for.
Squire's screen, his images are always little crayon drawings, and it's the
Yep.
cutest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's so
Well, Squire
precious.
is absolutely adorable in this
Squire is very
issue.
important to me. I
You
need
know,
him to be okay the longer we read this. I know
when
what's coming.
when he can't shoot the knot, I both feel for him and really feel for Goose, because in that moment Goose is like, I'm proud of you that you have trouble killing, and we're all gonna die if I don't kill Friendo. Which must have been just, can you imagine what Goose is going through there? You know, when he says, I told you, I'm not cross, just sad about what's gotta happen next. Um, which made me so happy that they were back and Friendo was safe, because Frendo's cool. And then the
Yes, very
last
happy that
page,
Friendo was spared.
yeah, the last page here is one of my favorite pages in all of Saga, period. Hazel and Squire hand in hand running off to play with all of their parents swooning in the background. It's just,
Again, we're ending on an uplifting note for this one.
yeah, we're ending on a very uplifting note for this one. This is one of the
I'd say this
this
is the
might,
ultimate calm before the storm, honestly. Because
yeah.
if you think about the end of the next volume, like we're getting probably the worst moment of all of Saga, arguably. So like it makes sense, honestly, that this volume will end on a high note because we're about to end on the worst note possible.
The calm
And I'll
before the
say that
storm is what this
even
is.
even as good things have happened since then, like I think this is the last moment that I was certain that we were going to have a happy ending. Um, I mean, I've always taken the tone that Hazel narrates in is indication that we have a mostly good ending, right? But this was the last moment where I really believed that they ride off into the sunset rather than it being a tragedy with a moral victory or something. I don't know how to describe it, but Josh, you're the writer. Help me out here.
It's gonna be bittersweet.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's any way for this to have like a totally happy ending. And
Well, I
I think
mean,
if it,
yeah.
and
I
I
mean,
also don't think you're gonna end this like a total bummer.
no. I mean, but yeah, but I mean, like again, by the end of the next volume, there are too many people lost to allow for a happy ending, no matter how
Correct.
long we have to go.
Correct.
Um, though, I mean, this is where I then go
Oh, I know
back.
what the ending is. 100%. I feel very confident. I have no basis to go on this. The ending of Saga is going to be when Hazel becomes a mom and she's telling the story to her kid.
I think that's definitely I could see that. That's not part of what I had, but it doesn't refute what I had in my head. I'll share it off air. I just want to wait
Okay.
on air. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Is that I would even go a step further. I wouldn't be surprised if she's telling it to like her grandkid.
Yeah. I
You
mean, this
know.
was Brian K. Vaughan watched How I Met Your Mother and said, "This is how I'm going to do that story."
Oh my God. How I Met Your Mother
That's
is.
damn spot on, dude.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the pessimist here. I've been
Are
hurt
we
too
gonna
many
suit
times.
up now?
I don't. I I think
Are we
if
picking sides?
anything, I think just from anything from this volume that we could play a scene in background while being tortured, looking at the will. Like I don't know. Maybe it's the pessimist in me. Maybe they're times standing still as they're going to a black hole. I'm thinking about like some random stuff. I don't know. I hope it ends somewhat well, but
That would be an interesting happy ending. They fall into a black hole, don't know it, and like still, it can't be a real flat black hole because apparently a real black hole is like squeezing you through a straw. I mean, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson explain it once, and it
mhm,
doesn't sound pleasant. But
yeah.
but like it could be something where they fall into something weird where nobody else can, but they have their supply. Maybe they have another rocket ship, another wood rocket ship. I mean, they had they go back to Reef, they get a new wood rocket ship, and then they go off into parts unknown, but they've got the thing that will give them sustenance.
Hmm.
I kind of have a different idea that kind of combines the two, Lee and Josh, your ideas, but not really at all, actually. It's like kind of similar, kind of different. I think that it's kind of happy, right? In the sense that like Hazel survives every like she's obviously narrating. What if she ends up like D. Oswald Heist and she's on a planet writing a book and she's writing about her life and the story to like kind of, pass on to, other generations and just like kind of writing like a memoir of sorts, but writing about her parents. She's writing the
I I
song, she's
could
writing Saga.
I could 100% see that. Um, it feels a little too Stephen Kingy for me.
Mm.
Um, but this is why I go back to she's going to become a mom
Yeah.
because it's Saga. That's what happens next.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And again, I have nothing to base that on.
Yeah.
That's just my gut.
I think that that's a good place to wrap for tonight, unless anybody else has anything that they want to toss in. All right, nobody's unmuting, so I'll say for Josh Eiserike, go back to the beginning of the episode and read all the books that he listed.
Yes.
Psychocomicology's Lee Woods, Matt and Belle and Marisol. This has been 22 panels in the Saga Book Club. We will see you after the next page.